Hey, what's going on, guys? Ryan Muncie here, RyanMuncie.com. Today's question comes from one of my readers who wants to know about whole grain bread versus multi-grain bread. I'm not a huge fan of grains and bread products in general, but when it comes to younger athletes, I work with a lot of younger athletes, and for those guys, sometimes we can't be as picky with what we have them eat. And you know, a lot of times food choices are not up to them. It's up to the parents or the schools or whatever. So the best thing that we can do is educate them. So that's what I want to try to do here. I want to explain the difference between multigrain, whole grain, and white breads. All right, and I'm also going to give you a recommendation at the end. So multigrain, all breads are made from grains of some kind. Every wheat that you see, every wheat product, wheat is a grain itself. So every bread is made from a grain, whether it's rye or wheat or barley or oats, anything like that. It's going to come from a grain, okay? So if one particular bread or one loaf uses rye and wheat and oats, then you have a multi-grain bread or a multi-grain chip or cracker or whatever the grain product is, okay? So if you see 7 grains, then you know that they're using probably barley, wheat, rye, oats. Well, that's 4, so there's probably 3 others that they're throwing in. But bottom line is, just because it says multi-grain doesn't mean that it's whole grain. Okay, whole grain implies that they're using the entire grain. So what's happening is, in that processing or the refining, that they'll strip away the germ or the outer coating, the outer shell, and they'll leave like just the very middle left. All right, so what's going to happen when you see a white bread or something that's highly processed is that all that outer stuff has been stripped away. And the problem there is that that contains both the fiber and a lot of the vitamins and mineral content. So that's why white products are so bad, because all of the natural goodness has been stripped away. A lot of times they've been fortified and it's been re-added, but really, how good is that? Okay, if you've got to take away what nature gave in the first place and then add something back that's another chemical or another man-made thing, that's exactly what we want to get away from. And that's why I always tell people, look, just go with rice, oats, potatoes, products that don't have to be refined and, you know, processed like that. If you are going to eat a bread, make sure that you get something that says specifically whole grain. Okay, so you know that it's got that whole grain in whatever the bread product is that you're eating. All right, now myself, when I do eat bread, I'll eat Ezekiel bread. It's made by a company called Food for Life, and it's actually a sprouted grain product. So what happens is they'll take the whole grains, they'll sprout them, and then they make the bread from that. So it still does have wheat, it still has gluten, so you still have a little bit of those issues if you're trying to avoid some of those things. But it's the least bad option when it comes to breads and stuff like that. All right, so guys, I hope you found that helpful. Make sure you subscribe up here to my YouTube channel. Click the link down below, RyanMuncie.com. Check out my website, full of awesome information like what you just heard, and I'm even going to hook you up, if it's your first time, with a free sports nutrition cheat sheet. See ya.